Hi there. Today, for all you fellow car enthusiasts, we're going to be taking a look at my latest completed project, which is a 1927 Mercedes open wheel racer. All right. What you may not know is that the particular original car, which was built in Germany, was actually built in 1925 and raced in 27, was the only prototype of its kind, and Mercedes only built the one, which now still resides in a museum over in Germany, which is where I first saw it. So many years later, of course, I decided to replicate the car. And just as a point of information, please note this is not a kit car. This car was built over a 22-month period entirely from scratch, okay? And we did use original parts when I could find them. So let's take a look at the car here first, and you can see that the body is all constructed from aircraft grade aluminum. There is no plastic or anything of that kind. It's all aircraft grade aluminum. The chassis itself is a modified 1939 Dodge, which I had to modify to accommodate the physical dimensions and specifications for the car. The interior, if we could just take a quick look at that. The interior, as you can see, it also replicates pretty much the original, with the exception that the original gauges, of course, we couldn't find anything even to approximate that. And you might find it a point of interest that the original was powered with a surplus World War I BMW built V12 bomber engine. Now that original engine, although it produced 400 horsepower, the original engine weighed actually more than 1,200 pounds. So it was quite heavy. In this application though, also noting that a bomber engine wouldn't be very practical for driving this vehicle on the street, which I do drive it to and from shows. So we're going to take also a look at the engine that I used, which is a highly modified Jaguar V12. All right, so let's go over here. And here you can see the Jaguar V12 engine, which is modified. It displaces 6 liters. And it was built from various components. For instance, the block itself is a 90 V12, while the cylinder heads and the manifolds are 74 model, which is much more compatible in terms of driving on the street with a 10-to-1 compression versus 11-to-1. And of course you have the 4 carbs set up with Stromberg carbs and are very streetable. You might also want to take note that the ignition system on this engine is one that I had to actually design and build myself, since the original Lucas ignition, which is used on these engines, is really, for the most part, junk. Very problematic ignition. So this ignition here was built, as I say, from scratch using an electronic control module, and then I had to fabricate all the inner workings for the distributor itself. You might also note that the fan has been relocated centrally, since the original fans on these engines were set off to the side, and also to accommodate the cooling system. This cooling system holds actually 27 quarts of coolant, and with low-rated thermostats of 165, the engine actually runs very cool. In fact, let's go ahead and just start it up so you can hear how it sounds. These are very smooth running engines. One of the nice features about the 12 cylinders, other than they run smooth, is that the torque curve throughout the RPM range is very consistent. So this engine develops a lot of torque. The transmission that I used on this version of it is actually a Borg Warner Model 12 3-speed transmission. Okay? So we'll shut it back down now. And if we just take a quick walk around the car, note that the exhausts on this are real, just like the original. These are not dummy exhausts like you see on some of these kit cars. So these are real exhausts that I had to fabricate completely from scratch. One change that I did make, since the original Racer had mechanical brakes, but that again wouldn't be real safe for the street. So this car now is incorporated Ford 11-inch disc brakes up front, and we have GM drum brakes 9.5-inch in the rear. Okay. Even, for instance, the license plate itself, that's an original 1927 license plate. Now, the original wheels and tires, although they were spokes, they were equipped with balloon-type tires, and once more, balloon-type tires wouldn't be real great for riding on the street. So these tires and wheels were actually made up special for the car by Coker Tire, and I will tell you that Coker Tire did a really great job on this. I'm very impressed with the wheels that they did. So moving along here, you can see again the interior. I did the interior all in Connolly leather. I really did not want to farm any of the work out, even though I'm not a paint specialist by any means. I painted the car myself, and I am going to be making a few fix-overs here on the paint job. Aluminum is kind of tricky to paint. But again, moving around, you can get an overall view of the car and see how it appears from all angles. I will tell you right now that this car on the street is pretty amazing. It's very quick off the line. It's got tremendous torque throughout all the RPM ranges, and it really runs. It runs faster than I want to drive it. Okay, so once more, here you have the 1927 Mercedes open wheel racer, and if you'd like to see the original, I'm afraid you'll have to go to Germany. Okay, thanks a lot.